He told me over the phone, "I don't love you anymore." The words landed while I was standing in line at a coffee shop, the kind with chalkboard menus and plants that pretend to be alive. The barista asked for my name. I couldn't remember it. I stepped aside, phone pressed to my ear, listening to the quiet where love used to be. Steam hissed. Cups clinked. Somewhere behind me, a milk frother screamed like it knew. I didn't cry. Not then. I stared at the counter and thought about his hoodie, the gray one with the frayed cuff that always swallowed my hands. I was wearing it that morning. I had worn it because it smelled like him. I took it off and folded it over my arm like something borrowed that needed to be returned. We were good before we weren't. That's the part that makes it dangerous to remember. We met in that same coffee shop 3 years earlier. He spilled his drink because he laughed too hard at his own joke. I teased him. He apologized. We sat at the small table by the window, knees almost touching, rain tapping the glass like a dare. He lent me his hoodie because the air conditioning was too aggressive. It fit me wrong. It fit me perfectly. We built a life out of small rituals, Sunday grocery runs, notes on the fridge, a playlist for car rides that grew longer every month. When he cooked, he danced. When I couldn't sleep, he counted my breaths with his thumb on my wrist. He used to text me photos of stray cats, like proof that the universe was gentle. He said my laugh sounded like relief. The hoodie became a character in our story. It lived on the back of my chair. It showed up at the movies. It went with me on trips and came back smelling like airport coffee and sunscreen. When I wore it, people thought I was taken. I was. Then things shifted. Not with a crash, with a whisper. He started answering texts with periods. He stopped sending cats. The hoodie stayed on my chair longer than it stayed on his shoulders. He said work was heavy. He said he was tired. He said he loved me, but it sounded like a habit. When I reached for him in bed, he turned his face toward the wall like the night had called his name. I told myself I was being dramatic. I told myself love grows quiet sometimes. I told myself this was the price of staying. One night, I waited up. The clock glowed 1:12, then 2:04. His keys finally rattled the door. He didn't kiss me hello. He smelled of rain and something sharp, something sweet that wasn't mine. He went straight to the shower. I sat on the edge of the bed and stared at the hoodie hanging on the chair, as if it could explain things. The coffee shop became my confessional. I went alone and watched couples hold hands. I rehearsed conversations in my head. I practiced being calm. I practiced being brave. I practiced hearing answers I didn't want. The betrayal didn't dress just as fireworks. It came as a message, glowing small and cruel in my palm. I was scrolling absent-mindedly one afternoon when a DM popped up from a name I didn't recognize. No greeting, just a photo. It was him, my him, sitting at a table in that same coffee shop. The window, the plants, the chalkboard menu. He was leaning forward, smiling in a way I hadn't seen in months. Across from him sat a woman in a red coat, her sleeve brushing his wrist. The caption under the photo read, "You deserve to know." My hands went numb. The hoodie slid off my shoulders and pooled on the floor. I picked it up. I pressed it to my face. It smelled of detergent and loss. I didn't scream. I didn't throw anything. I called him. He answered on the third ring. "Hey," he said, like we were still normal. "I saw you," I said. My voice was steady, which surprised me. "At the coffee shop." Silence stretched. I imagined him pinching the bridge of his nose. I imagined the red coat hanging on the back of a chair. "It's not what you think," he said, because of course he did. "Then tell me what it is," I said. "Tell me fast." We met that night. The coffee shop was closed, so we stood outside under the awning while rain stitched the street together. I wore the hoodie. I wanted armor. He looked older somehow, like the truth had already started eating him. "She's someone I talk to," he said. "It didn't mean—" "Don't," I said. "Don't shrink it." He exhaled. He looked at the ground. "I didn't plan it. I just felt different with her." "Different how?" I asked. "Lighter," he said, and I felt the word land between us, heavy as a dropped plate. The confrontation was short. That's what hurt the most. No shouting, no grand speech, just facts laid out like receipts. He hadn't slept with her, not yet. He hadn't told me because he didn't want to hurt me. He had already hurt me. He said he was confused. He said he still cared. He said he didn't know how to fix it. I asked when he stopped choosing me. He didn't answer. The breakup happened later, over the phone, because distance had become his language. He said, "I don't love you anymore," and I thought of the hoodie and how love can look like fabric until it doesn't. The days after were a blur of returning things: his mug, his spare toothbrush, the hoodie. I folded it carefully. I left it on his doorstep like a peace offering I didn't believe in. I walked away without looking back, which felt like learning a new muscle. I stopped going to the coffee shop. I took different streets. I blocked the DM sender after a brief thank you that tasted like ash. I slept in the middle of the bed and woke up on the edge. I cried in the shower because the sound of water could hold it. Time didn't heal me. It taught me how to carry the ache without dropping it. Weeks passed, then months. I bought a new jacket. I cut my hair shorter than he liked. I learned how to cook meals for one without pretending it was temporary. I laughed, surprised by the sound. I sent myself photos of cats. One morning, I went back to the coffee shop. I ordered my drink. I gave my name. The barista wrote it correctly. I sat at the table by the window. The rain came, faithful as ever. I watched it bead and run and begin again. I took out my phone and deleted the playlist we made together. I didn't replace it. I sat with the quiet and found it wasn't empty. It was wide. I thought about the red coat and how it had burned so bright in my memory. I thought about the hoodie and how it had kept me warm until it couldn't. I thought about love and how it doesn't always end with a villain. Sometimes it ends with two people choosing different doors. When I left, the sun broke through the clouds. The street gleamed. I pulled my jacket tighter and stepped into it. Not healed, not whole, but moving, and for the first time in a long time, that felt like enough.